What's up, everybody? Today we're talking about the PlayStation 5 and how it's gonna deal in Japan. But first, a message from our sponsor. Hi, future me here. I forgot to say this, but we now have an Instagram and a Twitter that you can follow. And now, a word from our sponsor. Our sponsor is Common Sense. Wear your mask. And now, back to the video. So, Japan. It's been a really big hard spot for PlayStation during the PlayStation 4. It hasn't done too hot, while Nintendo is just skyrocketing to a disproportionate amount of the market in Japan, to the point that the Japanese government has even thanked Nintendo for saving video games in Japan. Internationally, the video game market is 54% mobile gaming, and a lot of that comes from Asia, and then the rest of it is PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch, and then like 4% of it's like PC gaming. But the point is, Switch and mobile gaming has like a stranglehold in Japan that might be unbreakable for PlayStation. But as we're riding on the eve of PlayStation 5, it's literally weeks away at this point. You have to start to wonder, is this going to be something that changes how the gaming landscape is in Asia? And personally, I think it's going to. Reason being, look at all these things that are coming out for the PlayStation in the near future that is kind of more Japanese garnered. For example, we have Demon Souls. That's going to do great, the remake over there. When you look at what's going on even further, Project Agatha, or whatever it's called from Square Enix, that is Final Fantasy 16. We know that. They're not going to officially tell us it yet, but that is Final Fantasy 16. That's going to drive up PlayStation 5 sales in Japan. And we also see a lot of things going multi-plat that probably wouldn't have gone multi-plat otherwise. For example, Shin Megami Tensei 3 Remake, or Remaster I should say. That is coming out on PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. Shin Megami Tensei 5 is going to be just on the Switch, of course, but we still have new Persona games, which is now multi-plat, which is kind of odd, but that's been one of the bigger sellers for the PlayStation in Japan. And now we have a PlayStation 5 exclusive remaster for Yakuza 7, which officially that releases in the United States and the Western world later, but it's highly likely that's going to be a launch title in Asia for the PlayStation 5. But when we also look at what's going on with the entire state of the union in Japan gaming, it looks like they're moving more towards shorter games. If you look at the sales of The Last of Us Part 2, that was astronomical in Asia. Nobody has ever seen that happen with their games in Asia that wasn't an Asian company. And then now most recently with Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima is only the third game in history to be given a perfect rating by the Asian ratings board, which is crazy. Famitsu has only given 2 other games perfect ratings. That's Skyrim and Grand Theft Auto 5. But Ghost of Tsushima is heavy on Japanese culture and Japanese history. There are other games coming out that are equally that big. Look at 2019. Sekiro was Game of the Year. That was straight Japanese mythology. And it's seeming like Ghost of Tsushima is setting up to be like that for this year. It might not be Game of the Year, but it's definitely going to be one of the bigger games, one of the more talked about games. It's more than likely going to be Game of the Year in all of Asia. I don't know about the United States and other places, but it's definitely going to be that for Asia. And when we start to look at the other things that is moving on, if you don't follow what's going on in the Japanese world, you may not know this, but on average, homes, houses, condos, apartments, they're actually getting smaller in size, and homes were already small enough in Japan just because of somewhat the population getting bigger and just people downsizing. So that all digital PlayStation 4 might actually do something in Japan. You don't know that yet, but it could. Now, what really excites me is the Japanese video game collecting scene is huge. It's humongous. It's probably bigger than the one in the United States and everywhere else. They have so many stores dedicated to it. And the PlayStation 5 looks, I guess you could say, beautiful, and it's backwards compatible. So are there going to be a whole lot of people that go ahead and jump up to that just to start collecting for it? Is there going to be a huge instance of people coming? PlayStation is trying to get a bigger stranglehold on the Japanese market, which is odd that they don't have it being a Japanese company. But with that happening, they are able to push more Japanese game developers into putting their games on the PlayStation 5. And with that happening, and with the Nintendo Switch slowly getting more and more out of date every single year, this is going to work out well in the favor of PlayStation. Now, I honestly cannot tell you one way or the other if this is going to bang and make PlayStation a huge hit in Japan again, but everything considered, the way lifestyle is changing in Japan, the way people are coming around to Western technologies in Japan, the way gaming is moving to the digital world, and just how much easier it is to, have a huge library of games digitally versus physically, how much room it takes, then it's probably a good chance that the PlayStation 5, especially that all digital version, is going to be a huge hit in Japan and might be able to knock Nintendo off their pedestal. Now, of course, we're going to have to wait and see how that turns out. But as of right now, on my initial circumstances, my initial guesses on how the market's moving, I think the PlayStation 5 will be able to reclaim its dominance in Japan. But, throughout this duration of the PlayStation 5 life cycle, I'm actually going to end up immigrating over there. It's already pretty much set in stone. Once I graduate next year, it's straight back to the good old country of Nihon. But with that being said, let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. Do you think PlayStation will be able to catch up and overthrow Nintendo in Japan? Let me know in the comments, like I said. And with that being said, and a lot of things being said, actually, many words. Words is pretty much what runs a YouTube channel. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And that has been the wrap up.